Hello everyone, and welcome to Electric Scooter Repair. Today I have a Kaabo Wolf Warrior X GT. This scooter was purchased recently, and the owner brought it in claiming that it has had a fairly intense steering notch since they took it out of the box. A steering notch is a term that we use to describe inconsistent travel of the handlebars from one side to the other. This condition is serious and makes the scooter unsafe to ride until resolved. To do so, we're going to replace the bearings inside of the steering assembly. Let's get started. For this repair, I'll need my mini ratchet, a 5mm Allen key and two 6mm Allen keys, a mallet, maybe, some red Loctite, and a torch. To get started, I'm going to remove the front fender with a 3mm Allen bit. At this point, we can take the front fender and these two cables out of our way, and we're going to apply the torch to the head of this top bolt for about a minute or two. We need to heat the bolt to about 600 degrees so that we can liquefy the thread locker that's been applied to it. Otherwise, you're probably going to strip it out. I get a lot of these bolts stripped out by customers who haven't used heat. You shouldn't have to force it. If you're having to push it really hard, you haven't used enough heat. Same thing for the bottom bolt. Get it hot, and then it should be easily removed. Just make sure you're not setting the scooter or anything else on fire, and if you're not comfortable using a torch, please by all means take it to a professional like the mechanics at Fluid Freeride. The next step is going to be to separate these braces on the forks using a 5mm Allen key, and then the whole assembly with the bearings is going to slide off. There goes the bottom bearing. Take care to not strain the cables in any way, and set the forks down gently. Now I've got the bearings out, and they are covered with no grease, but a lot of rust. I'm not sure what's going on at the Kaabo factory, but I gotta tell you, I've seen a lot of these Wolf Warrior X GTs with a steering notch, and when you open them up, there's no grease on the bearings. Fortunately for this guy, he bought his scooter from Fluid Freeride, so this bearing replacement is going to be completely covered by his warranty. I'm going to clean out the bearing races and make sure that there's not been any scratches or damage to the bearing races. If these are damaged, they need to be replaced. Most of the time, in my experience, they're fine, and you can test this by sliding your fingernail around inside of the race. If there's a scratch in the race deep enough to catch your fingernail, then it needs to be replaced. But if you can slide your fingernail around inside of the bearing and it feels smooth, then it's fine. Okay, so I've packed these bearings with grease, and I'm just going to drop the top one in, and gravity is going to hold it in place. I've got the bottom one held in with my hand here as I slide the forks on under it. Make sure everything's in place. Now I'm just going to add Loctite onto these bolts. Thread them in by hand just to hold everything together. This is where you're going to need your two 6mm Allen keys, but what would be better is if you had a ratchet. Now that's going to pull the braces together in place. And now we just need to tighten up those braces on the forks with our 5mm Allen key. All we have to do now is reattach the front fender, and we're all done. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and consider subscribing. I've got a lot of scooters to fix around here, so stay tuned for more electric scooter repair.